Hey guys, welcome back. This is Chris from Beards of War. I just wanted to make sure that you guys are here with us again on another amazing episode. So, what's on the agenda for today? It's going to be Justice League. Great movie, bad movie, we'll see. Some of the topics we're going to be covering are going to be characters, standout performances, movie overall, comparison from me to Super Friends from the cartoon way back in the day. And then, of course, it's going to be gear. And speaking of gear, this is a perfect time to shout out our sponsors over at Roan Industries.
Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Today's video is sponsored by Roan Industries LLC, a veteran-owned company that strives to provide better gear for better operators. They design products with only the necessary moving parts, no excess fluff, and simple functionality. So when you get ready to go ahead and check out at Roan Industries, go ahead and put BOW in all caps and get a 15% off discount in the coupon area. Thanks for checking them out. Thanks for checking us out.
All right, guys. So Justice League. I mean, what else can I say? Yeah, awesome movie. Yeah, not really. That was very, very satirical in nature. But the first thing we're going to jump into is one of my favorite parts. It's going to be Wonder Woman saving these kids. So it kind of starts out with Wonder Woman coming in on these terrorists that decided they wanted to make a statement. And blow up a bunch of different people and usher in some kind of, not necessarily apocalyptic beginning, but it had its moments. All in all, I think this was a great scene. I mean, from her coming through the ceiling of the place, but in particular, when she got to blocking the bullets and, just kind of throwing the guys back, knocking them back, it was just great. All in all for me. I think she does a great job. We shouted her out before in previous performances. Gal Gadot, I'm hoping I'm saying your name right. Probably the best Wonder Woman next to Linda Carter, if I don't say so myself. But I don't know, guys. What are your thoughts?
Linda Carter? What other Wonder Woman?
Yeah, that's the real Wonder Woman,
exactly.
Right?
There's no other. There's just none. I'm sorry. I had to. I couldn't hold that back. I'm sorry.
Take it away, Eric.
Yeah, that scene was great. Gal Gadot did a great job as her depiction of a DC character in the likeness of Wonder Woman. And I also think you gotta kind of put her in the argument for one of the fastest superheroes because that took extremely quick. And that's a Superman Flash type of moment. It's not like she's got one bullet to block. She's blocking this fire on rapid fire and protecting like all these children, you know what I mean? So it was, I like the way that scene was shot, and that was, one of the better scenes for sure. Anybody got anything else on that?
Yeah, Grant loved it.
Yeah. Different reasons.
God,
all right.
There's so much about this movie. Okay, so we just kind of jumped right in, but I'm going to preface this. I was a proponent for the Snyder Cut. I signed on the dotted line, hoping it would get released one day. I saw it. I actually loved it. All their opinions aside, like I loved it. And this movie is not that, so I can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. All right, that genie's not going back in the bottle. I've seen it. I have my overall opinion of this, but like there's some questions, right? So like her entire approach, the terrorist approach, it didn't really work for me. Like it's awesome seeing Wonder Woman. I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She's fantastic. Wonder Woman, the original, is phenomenal. 1984. That's a different story. Here, she's still great. Like she is the embodiment of the character. Fantastic. But there's cuts to the sequence where I don't understand what's going on. Like I don't understand the motivation of the terrorists. Yeah. So moving on before I say something mean.
All right. So moving on, we're going to get into Batman doing his recruitment pitches. Just kind of finding these guys. He's searching after Aquaman. He comes up and he finds Flash. And he's already inside, Flash's little lair, if you want to call it. And I don't know what it is, but it seems like computer screens are a sign of affluence. Like, why do you need 27 screens? Like, what are you looking at? Like, windows, dude. Like, these screens have windows. You don't need 27 monitors. For any reason, I don't care how fast you are, you don't need 27 monitors. But anyway, this scene kind of goes to show you how much, Batman uses his brain and also his instinct. So he takes a look at the suit. It can basically tell him what the suit is, what it does, where else he's seen it. Like, this is on the space shuttle. I'm like, how do you know that by looking at it? he says to him, I don't know what your powers are, but I'm going to throw a batarang at your face. Hopefully you move out the way or something. Like, your power has to be something. Luckily for Flash, it was the ability to move out of the way, because Batman did not know that at the time when he threw the batarang at his face. But it just goes to show you, like, Batman goes with his gut instinct as well as, what he knows to be fact. And I just think that's what makes him one of those superheroes that is a force to be reckoned with, because he's willing to take a shot on it. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't going to wound this kid. He threw it at his head. Like, he's like, okay, I'm going to find out who you are in this moment in time, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But he's hardly ever wrong.
I'd actually counter that and say that this is a hardened Batman, like, because Ben Affleck started out. He's probably the oldest version of Batman I think that we've had across the cinematic universe, and he's actually one of my favorites. I'd put him right there, just underneath Michael Keaton as far as my favorite Batmans, because he's brittle, or not brittle, but he's angry, and he's disenfranchised, for lack of a better term, and it shows in this movie, showed in the last movie. It's fantastic, but yeah, I love it because he doesn't care. Like, what if he was wrong? Do you think this Batman version of Batman would have cared if he was wrong and he just killed some random person? Be like, ooh, oops, close, but
Right,
not right.
Not what I would have thought. Yeah.
But this is Ben Affleck's version where he's willing to make, like you said, Eric, he's willing to make those gut reactions, and that's just another reason why I actually love Ben Affleck as this Batman.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, Bat Guy, as I've dubbed him. Yeah, he's a regular. He's DC's version of Tony Stark, right? So yeah, I'd have to agree, man, with you, Eric, on him looking at it reminded me of Tony Stark with regards to, like, the knowledge of material and everything. To just see that, I thought was pretty good, and he is definitely one of my more favored Batman or Bat dudes, whatever you want to call Bat Guy. But yeah, I'm a Marvel guy, so he's gonna get beat up a little bit, but not bad.
And one more thing to that, one more caveat. As we all just admitted to, Batman is the tech guy. He uses an Android phone, people. He's Team Android.
Hence the reason why
Don't
he's
forget
DC.
it. Look at the movie, and then he gets to Mercedes-Benz, so I don't want to hear any of that. Oh, but the iPhone's better. Nope. Batman uses an Android. End of story.
Yeah, I would say if we're going to do that comparison, then iPhone would be Marvel, and Samsung, Android garbage would be DC. So par for the course, to be honest.
I haven't seen iPhone used in Marvel either. No. I haven't seen Tony Stark with an iPhone.
No, I'm just saying, if we're going to make comparison of phones,
no, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is not rocking a Samsung Android, man. Like, it's just not happening. They bought their way
the
into
movie
the movie.
again.
They bought their way into the movie, and that's it. Like,
and he used
it's
it.
Just
so
how it is.
Ergo,
look at the bitterness.
DC
you can tell
Comics
who the
strikes
iPhone users
again.
are, people.
DC
So they chose
strikes
the
again.
wrong thing.
You know why? Because Apple is easy and it doesn't suck.
Yeah, it's a Marvel
There you
thing.
go.
You just got to face it.
Hashtag Apple doesn't suck.
And this is why you will never be remembered.
Hashtag
never be remembered.
Marvel. Look, unhashtag Green Lantern.
Has nothing to do with this.
What are you
DC.
even
Right? I don't
talking
know.
about?
Yeah,
All
DC.
right. Off that rail, boys. Off the rail.
Rail.
Superman. You know what? I was impressed. I'm gonna tell you, the Superman, like, re-entrance when he shows up at his own little his statue and everything that they resurrected, where he had the statue head and he threw it at Wonder Woman. That little fight scene, to be honest, I thought was great. To see Superman angered like that, it's really rare, right? Yeah, I think that's only because we got an R-rated version, and we're able to see a little more from his character. I wish it was more along those lines. I mean, he opened up with the I-beams, and how many times in history can you count Superman unleashing his lasers on anybody and not even caring, to be honest? Now, obviously, it's because of the the resurrection and everything, but all in all, I thought it was good. And him, he had a little bit of a difficulty with Wonder Woman when she lassoed him. You could see him kind of strain a little bit, and he finally pulled her in there. But hey, that speaks to her strength in this series, in this movie. So great. And then his speed with responding to the Flash running by. I'm going to tell you, man, like, Flash, all of the Flashes have been goofy, but I'll get to that. But all in all, I thought this was a great little fight scene.
I really dug it, man. I thought Superman coming back actually kind of saves the movie to a point. And I'm going to start segueing into my points as to why I feel that way too. Because, like, you can definitely clearly see that Zack Snyder had a vision for these movies. Like, he was going to pretty much the direct opposite of Marvel, where Marvel's kind of a little bit campy, some kind of cheesy, a lot of funny, and then good action, right? He was going to go the direct opposite with DC. He was going to go dark, much more mature tone, and I respected him for it because I thought it was just what DC kind of needed, I think, to stand out against Marvel. I love the sequence, man, because it is truly, truly awesome to watch the remaining characters of the Justice League movie kind of like all simultaneously crap their pants because they're realizing that they don't stand a chance against this guy who can basically tear them apart without blinking twice. Yeah, it's Pet Cemetery, right? Freaking hilarious, man. I think it's one of the best aspects of it, and if I was going to say that there's one of the scenes that stood out for this version of the movie, I'd say this is easily one of it. And honestly, the build-up to Henry Cavill returning was fantastic. And it only gets better in the other version. But I'll leave it over to Eric now.
Yeah. So, and a part of this scene, you can see where Batman shows up and Superman's like, "I remember you," right? Like, I'm not happy with this guy. He grabs him by the face and literally, "Do you bleed?" Like, he was ready to snap Batman in half. And honestly, that's the Batman. I mean, that's the Superman I've been waiting to see. This Superman flying back here, this guy's been going a long time. That's Truth, Justice, American Way. It's time to see Superman go R-rated. All right, I want to see him punch a hole through a human body. Like, I'm sorry, I know it's a little twisted, but Superman fans are of age. We're of age. These kids now, yeah, they have their own version of superheroes, but those superheroes are the ones that we grew up on. They've grown with us. We've grown with them. I'm okay with seeing a darker Superman, like kind of like along the lines of that movie Brightburn, where that kid basically has Superman-like powers, but he's a freaking maniac. And this kid is like, well, why should I listen to anyone? Because it makes sense. If you have powers of a god, why do you not carry yourself as a god? Like, why are you basically a slave to people that are lesser than you? And why is Superman like that? He's just good. I don't know if I can buy that, and especially today, I don't know if I can just buy being good because for the sake of being good, But the fact that he has that control is a testament to who he truly is. And again, Batman goes with his knowledge and his gut. He said, "You know what? My ace in the hole is to bring his old lady up here. Hopefully, they ended on good terms, and he's gonna be happy to see her and take all the power onus off me." And it worked. Again, Batman just goes with his freaking gut, man. He found out the best way out of this to bring Lois Lane in, and hopefully that'll get Superman to come back down and to center himself, which it did. It worked out. And now we have the scene where Steppenwolf is trying to get, I believe, the last mother box, and this was kind of funny. In the course of the movie, he finds the other two mother boxes relatively easy. And these are supposed to be two of the hardest places to find, where the Amazonian women are and the city of Atlantis. He found those in 5 minutes. The ones that were buried in the woods somewhere on Earth, couldn't find it. So he had to basically interrogate people. And
they're actually in a closet because I think they come in and they address it. They're like, "Oh, they found it during World War I. And it's been in some antiquities closet in, I don't know, some museum."
Right. He can't find it, so it's not like he has a homing device. So I don't know how he found it, but whatever. And now Flash is like, "Okay, I've never been in a war situation. What do I do?" And Batman's like, "Save one person." And it was like, okay, he's like, "Okay, and then what?" He said, "Then you'll know." And he literally goes in, he moves people from one dangerous area to a slightly less dangerous area. But I think this missed a good opportunity for some comedy since you already made Flash the comic relief, so to speak, of the movie. The funniest thing would have been like, Batman's like, where are all the hostages? He's like, "Oh, I took them home." Right? Like, I took the time to literally take them all the way home. Like, not
like
just to a safe
seconds.
space.
Yeah.
I took them home,
Yeah.
Like, that would have been great. Yeah, but I thought that, it was a good moment to kind of show, okay, well, Flash is in over his head. He realizes it's in over his head. But with a little bit of guidance, okay, all right, cool, I can contribute to what we're doing. Rather, it's not really fight because he's not powerful, but he's fast, so you use whatever your power is to the best of your ability, and that's what he did there by saving one person.
Yeah, I agree a little on that. Only Only a couple things on that. And we talked about this in the office was like Flash moving as fast as he does, and now he's grabbing these people individually, and running, them. It seems to be like in a room just outside of the room where they were. So, one, did he really help him? To be honest, probably not so much. Gave him, he didn't couldn't have taken him too far, and then that too. No kind of support or anything as he's running with them at breakneck speeds, literally. So I'm surprised people didn't. It should have been rated R because they would have snapped in half or just disintegrated. He would have came to that other room with like their bones in his hands because he moves so fast, and their bodies can keep up with that level of speed. Yeah, just interesting. I mean, again, with Flash, man, I call him Speediest Maximus. Only because, like, I think the Flash sucks. I mean, he didn't in the old cartoon, right? The Super Friends, it wasn't that bad. I think they've had a habit in DC and even in Marvel with these super fast characters. Whether it's Quicksilver or the Flash, they make them these really young, guys. I don't not necessarily calling them kids, but they're in their very early 20s, and they always make them just kind of goofy. And then when they run, they look goofy. The only time he didn't really look that goofy running is when Wonder Woman was going after her sword and he had to run around the edge of the wall. And that's only because they didn't do the slow-mo until he touched the sword and then he bounced off. So that looked a little more, true to form for me. I think they make, he's kind of goofy running, this weird start thing, and the comedy just sucks. It's teenage at best. For me, so yeah, I think all the Flashes suck.
I will say I love Quicksilver in X-Men First Class or Days of Future Past. I can't remember when he makes his debut.
Yeah,
Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
I love that sequence. I think it's great. So this is like the direct opposite of that, which is not good or sucks. But I will say, like, the message is good, right? Like, at the end of the day, this is kind of like where Iron Man was talking to Peter Parker and trying to, like, lift him up and be like, hey, man, if you can do one thing, you can save one person, it makes a difference. So it is kind of a poignant scene, right? It's a poignant scene, and I'll leave it at that. So, hey, so leaving that sequence and heading into, like, basically the build-up to the big third act, the final confrontation with Steppenwolf and his, gang of giant bugs. The crew's all flying basically on Bruce Wayne's transport. They're going with the plan, what they're going to do, and everyone decides to have, like, an emotional moment to talk about, like, everything they've lost and blah, 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 and, like, I'm a sad panda, and all this other kind of stuff. And it builds up in this poignant moment, and then Aquaman starts losing his mind because he starts talking about, like, some deep, dark shit. And it's supposed to be like this, truth be told, but you can like just kind of tell that Jason Momoa is like on the verge of cracking up the entire time. And I still love Jason Momoa. I don't care, man. Like he's kind of like Morgan Freeman. I could watch him read the phone book out loud and just be still entertained because it's just a good personality. But he starts alluding to all these kind of like silly things about himself, and it's a joke because he's saying on the last of the truth, so he had to tell his feelings, all this other crap. But the thing that irritated me about the the sequence, is that at the end of the day, like these superheroes are having like, no kidding, like real feelings, and they're talking about it up until his character sits on the last of the truth and tells them all this crap. They're all concerned they're going to die, and they're going to try to save the world doing it, and that's pretty heroic. And it just completely ruins the scene when they take you out of that emotion and be like, oh, joke's on me. Yeah, those are my true feelings, but I'm not going to share them with you because I'm insecure or whatever garbage they want us to feel. It ruins the immersion of the scene, man. Like, it's a good scene until that moment. You're just like,
I think that was beautiful.
it's a butt of a joke again.
I mean, he did come up with "You Are Gorgeous." Like he said it. Like all these other superheroes, because they can play like Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman's not hot. Like, okay, like, dude, really, nobody else has tried? Like, no one else has tried to hit on Wonder Woman? Like, come on, dude, like, really? So, at least I like the fact that he came clean with that. I mean, I don't know how far you get with it in today's world.
He
but,
had to.
He said it, right? So, I give him credit for that.
Yeah. Kevin Costner. I mean, Waterman. I mean, Aqua dude.
What?
Yeah. That was a shameless plug for Waterworld. Waterworld, if you remember. That's what I would say. I like Jason Momoa as an actor. But this Aquaman for me, whether it's this one or the other ones, yeah, just below subpar. And again, I'm comparing them to the days of old, like back in the superhero days or whatever. I just like that Aquaman. Call me, looking at two-dimensional characters, call me old and cheesy, but I like Jason Momoa. I think he does justice to the justice, no pun intended. He does justice to the character. But yeah, man, Kevin Costner, great job in this movie, bro.
Hey, do you think? Have you heard the rumblings about him getting cast as Lobo?
Dude, don't I just threw up. So sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think so? I think he'd make a fantastic Lobo, man. I think that was the role he's destined to play in DC.
Let me clarify. Don't make a Lobo movie. Wow. I think he would do a good job. Don't make Lobo, man. Come on. There's so many other characters they can do. Like, give me any
Calendar Man.
Calendar Man. No. Dude,
Said
I'll
nobody.
take
Mr.
Okay,
Mitchellplick.
Dude,
All right, Rail. All right.
I'll
so-
take Mitchellplick.
Rail.
All right, so now this scene, this is one of those improbable Flash scenes, right? Like, so him and Superman are basically, hey, we have civilians in the area that we have to save. So you have this family that's in their little beat up, pickup truck trying to escape, everything that's going on, and two kids are literally sitting in the back, and he tells the girl, "Oh, hold on," like he's as we said, breakneck speed, okay. Those kids would have flown out the back of the truck. The people would have flown through the window. Like,
Oh yeah.
he'd have been there with an empty truck, and like you said, this blood
Mom, Dad are
splattered on
dead.
his face. Like,
They're
oh
dead.
man,
Absolutely
yeah,
dead.
right. Too much. Like, too fast. You know what I mean? Like, they're not. You're not physically prepared to move that fast unless you're talking about like time travel. And I don't think Flash is really time travel, even though they do play around with that. And that's like again why I like the Quicksilver version, because they address that. Like when he runs with Magneto out of the prison, he holds the back of his head like this is to prevent whiplash, because Magneto was sick from moving so fast because his body isn't designed to do that. And Flash, they kind of missed that. So these kids are just basically, oh yeah, I'll just hold on, I'll be fine. No, dude, they'd have been at the same spot as soon as he left with that truck. Just the bodies, just bags of flesh. Just okay, went a little too fast on that one.
So I kind of like Eric's comment on this, and I'm gonna tell you why. So, without me doing it or even Grant doing it, we got Eric to plug Marvel. So I'll buy that one. I'll take that. He liked Quicksilver better than the DC one. Hey,
Every day.
yeah,
We've talked that
Equal love,
sequence
equal
to
love.
death.
Yeah,
Quicksilver
no.
from that movie was phenomenal.
yeah, but I'm gonna take another stab at it because this is twice that he's come up. Well, actually 3 times because I brought him up. But dude, Quicksilver, a little off the rails, but yeah, he sucks so bad. In my opinion, he looked like he should have been in a Pokemon video game. Like he had the goggles or what. Yeah, he just sucked. But yeah, I agree with you, man. Flash running as fast as he could, as he did with that truck. Honestly, those people, he should have ended up like going through them, and they should have exploded like they were on The Boys, and all these blood and guts and stuff went everywhere. Because there's no way they could have stayed still in there. But, hey, at least you shouted out Marvel.
All right, so I'm going to take it away from here because we're going to talk about the final fight. Now, I do have to go back in time a little bit because there's a sequence in the movie where it talks about Steppenwolf trying to invade Earth the first time, right? So basically, you got the Amazonians, you've got like some godlike folks that are throwing like bolts of lightning, almost looks like a Hercules. You've got the Atlanteans, the Amazonians, and they're all fighting this guy. And then they have Justice League, or not the Justice League, the Green Lantern Corps shows up and they die. But anyways, a well-placed arrow takes out a spacecraft that goes down, and then Steppenwolf like leaves. Like he has the entire upper hand the entire time. He's got the 3 boxes, they're merging, blah 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 blah. He has the upper hand, gets defeated. I don't understand how we've gotten to this point in the movie where Steppenwolf once again has all 3 boxes. The charges that were tasked with maintaining them have completely screwed the proverbial pooch, and the end of the world is coming, and our heroes are doing the best they can, and then obviously at the very last second Superman shows up, and dude, it's awesome seeing like Henry Cavill back on scene as Superman. It reunites the crew. So it's awesome to see, right? It's every kid's dream to see all those people live in action on a big screen. So yeah, it does kind of make for some nostalgia maybe for our generation and those else who appreciate that. But the fight is a giant CGI slugfest, not really well choreographed. A lot of reasons to kind of explain away some of the silly decisions in it. But at the end of the day, the bugs turn on Steppenwolf because suddenly he becomes afraid of the Justice League because Superman showed up and wrecked house. And it was just kind of goofy. Like you want to punch yourself in the face for accepting this as an ending to like a major like cinematic comic book team up because you're just like, this is dumb. This is dumb and it shouldn't exist. And I hate you for making this all about this movie. It's kind of like watching Black Widow and be like, oh, they controlled him with pheromones, so she breaks her nose and now she can defeat evil. Are you kidding me with that logic? Like, you're absolutely kidding me. That is the dumbest shit ever. Same with this. His own forces defeat him because suddenly he's afraid of Superman is about to, like, punch him to death. No kidding. Wow, that was easy. That was easy to end.
He broke his axe. That's when the fear kicked in. He's like, oh, man, what do I do with this? All I have is a stick now. Like, dude, the axe wouldn't help you in the first place. But another part of the fight scene, and this happens a lot, especially with superhero movies, for some reason, throwing someone is a fight move. Like, since when? Like, why is throwing someone against a wall going to help? Like, oh, no matter who they are, they're going through the brick wall. It could be a regular person, another superhero, whatever, but for some reason, they have to go through the wall. And it's like, no, a regular person's bones are going to shatter as soon as they hit the wall. But, you know, when they're superheroes, apparently it works, you know. But this fight was, again, one of those, you could have ended it better than just having the parademons turn on Steppenwolf. Like, that
100%.
didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It was a
100%.
cop-out. It was like, okay, that's lazy writing. Like Ryan Reynolds would say, oh, that's just lazy writing.
Yeah.
But, I'm sorry, that was a Marvel shout-out because that was in Deadpool. Again, but I cover both DC and Marvel, so it's just love all around. But
we
yeah,
love you,
like
Ryan.
you said,
We love you.
it was, you know, it was a good superhero team up, something we've been waiting for a long time. But it could have been done just a little bit better.
Yeah, I liked Superman coming into this one. I will tell you two things. Well, you know what? Three things really quick on this. One, and there, in my opinion, there's a reason why we didn't really talk about this guy that much because he sucked, and that I called him Cyborg, but Cyborg, whatever. Man, dude, the whole look of the guy just kind of sucked for me. Like the entire movie, he looked way too skeletonized. Right, the suit, it looked too robotic and just kind of sucked. The character for me sucked all overall, and especially in this last fight scene, it was just kind of cheesy. And then, what's that?
Real quick on an alibi for the final fight scene. If you're an enabler, make sure that you just get out of the way because Superman obviously was handling Steppenwolf. Everybody else should have just been like handling that other business because he's the only one that's making a dent.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the other piece is, when Steppenwolf threw Flash against the wall, at least he didn't go through that pillar. Thank goodness. At least he kind of hit it and went down or whatever. So, you know, shout out to them for getting that part kind of right. And then at the end of the day, they all walked away with a trophy. They had his helmet. So it was like winning the Super Bowl, right? After he got beamed up by Scotty through that, you know, magic water tunnel that seems to just pop up randomly throughout everywhere. He got sucked up and he left his headpiece because he was just in such fear and getting smoke checked by his own guys. So, yeah, Henry Cavill, he stole the scene multiple times, except when Wonder Woman was in there.
Fair.
So, this kind of brings us to the end of this one, man. Hoping you guys liked it so far. A couple things want to cover here, but I just want you guys one more shameless plug. The Super Friends cartoon show, go back and watch it. It's still way better. That's just my thoughts on it. But anyway.
Where's it streaming?
What's that?
Do you know where it's streaming at?
Good question. Me personally, I usually go on YouTube, and you can watch for a lot of those old cartoons. They'll stack them up in order, and you can watch.
That's awesome.
Hopefully YouTube doesn't shut that down now since I brought it up. But hey, man, why not?
Great.
Right? Go there, check them out if you can. That's usually where I go and watch some of that old stuff. But in closing, so we kind of have a rating system we're working through, and it's really kind of a 1 to 10 scale. Obviously 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and we like to go around the room and kind of get a guy's opinion on what they rated this movie. So I'll kick it over to you, Eric. What do you got on this, man? 1 to 10. What's your number, bro?
Man, on the high end, I kind of got to give it a 4, and for the reason of, I think they tampered with the R rating and they should have just went for it. Like a PG-13, like come on, let's just do away with that. Let's go full bore, not at all. Like either make it this guy or make it an R-rated a superhero. So give me something that's gonna be like wow me. You know what I mean? It was, like I said, kind of all over the place, and being that Snyder Cut is out there, it brings it down because you know that there's a better version out there, and if you've seen it, there's no way you can put it up anywhere near the Snyder Cut. So if you're interested in DC, I would check out that Snyder Cut before you give it a rating, but I give it a 4.
Fair enough. Hey, what about you there, Rambo?
Well, man, I'm gonna be a little bit harsher. I'm gonna give it a 2. I struggle, man. So I was like I said in the beginning, I was a big fan of rooting for the Snyder Cut to release. I'm still hoping that David Ayer gets his release of Suicide Squad one day. Shameless plug there. But when Snyder's Cut finally came out, I got to see the full vision of what the guy was working towards, and say what you want to say about it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, so it's hard for me to walk this back and look at this theatrical cut and not see Joss Whedon's edits all over it, and oh man, that poor CGI mustache that went away from Henry Cavill's face, because that's just bad. But for 2 reasons, man. So this movie did help us get the Snyder Cut because a lot of fans were upset, so they petitioned and made magic happen over at HBO and Warner Brothers. So thanks for that. And the other thing is, at the end of the day, man, you're still watching a movie with some of the greatest superheroes that have ever been put to comic book pages. And if nothing else, it's what a day we live in when we could see that. So it's kind of cool.
Awesome.
I give it I still stand by my 2.
Nice. So I guess I'm gonna give it a super high rating, right? I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 5, right? So, and I'm a little brutal when it comes to ratings, but I'm gonna give it a 5. I thought the movie was just good. You guys have heard my critiques, but overall, it was just a good movie for me. What would impress me is if they did kind of a Super Friends, Legion of Doom movie. And then maybe make that rated R. That would pump me up, because that'll take me back to the days of DC and when I really liked DC. I still like some of the characters, but overall it'd have to do that to make me get higher in the ratings. So sorry, that's the best I can do for your credit score on this one, Justice League. Maybe if you guys, I don't know, what's that?
Womp.
Yeah, if you want to bump it up, get a better APR, come back with something better. Or maybe if I check out the Snyder Cut, because I haven't seen it, so that could affect, kind of my thoughts on this one, where my rating is or whatever. Who knows? Might still be the same. But, yeah, barring that, man, you guys got anything else?
Check out the deleted scenes on Justice League, though, because there is the hint of the Legion of Doom. Where
So that's
Jesse
money.
Eisenberg meets up with Deathstroke for the first time. And that's what sucks, too, because Deathstroke's in the Snyder Cut a little bit.
Gotcha. So, guys, with that being said, just to touch on the rating system again, we've done a few movies to this point. So right now, and we can't show you just yet because we want it to look a little more polished, right? But we got this one coming in out of the what have we done to this point, guys? 1, 2,
6.
Yes, yeah, 2, 6 sounds good, right? I'm going to go ahead and say that this one's coming in at a 3.66667, repeating, of course, to steal from a clip. If you guys know the reference, definitely put that in the comments. Damn it, Leroy!
You know.
But I'm going to go ahead and go with that, right? So, when you take all our numbers and mash them up in the calculator with the number system, it's coming in at essentially 3.7. So if you guys I'll throw this out there. If you guys got some opinions on your ratings for those, feel free, throw it in the comment section. We'll definitely respond, and we look forward to getting feedback from you guys. So without further ado, we appreciate you guys coming out and joining us, Beards of War again, and look forward to talking to you guys again on the next one. It should be really interesting. I don't want to throw a plug out for that one just yet, but it's going to be I think it's going to be a really good movie. We'll see. Maybe I'll give it a 6. But
Thought you'd be bigger.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, without further ado, guys, thanks for coming out. Join us again. Look forward to seeing you guys next time. This is Chris signing off. Beards of War out.
Cheers, guys.